Okay, welcome to the studio, Miss Cheryl Hickey. She is a sister, daughter, friend, wife, and proud mom and television host for over 20 years. As a passionate wellness advocate, Cheryl has been in people's homes as a trusted source for so many years and does not take that responsibility lightly. She has worked with some of the biggest brands, including John Freida, Alfa Romeo, President's Choice, Shoppers, Drugmart, Jamison, Avogel, Avogel.
The spray.
Just to name a few. Learning about what works and how to live a better life is Cheryl's passion. Always learning and pushing forward to the millions of viewers who have trusted and watched Cheryl on all platforms, from TV to social media, for over 22 years.
Look at you go. Look at you go.
I'm a good reader.
You are awesome. Do you need to do that, or do you think by now people are like, okay, we get it? What do you think?
Well, I mean, there's some good stuff here. Featured Yahoo Lifestyle for Wellness, Best Health, Hello Magazine, and winner of a Canadian Screen Award this year. Nominated again. Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks, buddy.
Multiple shows. While this is going on, she is always sharing what works, not just for her, but for her family. Cheryl has graced many stages, but most recently at the National Women's Show in Toronto and the National Women's Show in BC to encourage families to make wellness a priority. This is why the 8-week family challenge is so close to her heart. Cheryl is dedicated to inspiring hold on.
You and I are dedicated to inspiring others. I feel like it's not just me.
Yes, but this is about, why do I lose you sometimes? Oh, there you are. Cheryl is dedicated to inspiring other families to live their best life. This is yet another way to help deliver wellness to the masses, and hope to the trickle down is felt.
Yeah. Look Cheryl. At you with a podcast, looking so beautiful. Look at you.
I mean, we're trying something new. We just launched it, and it's fun. I'll admit it's fun. I think you need to have your own.
I don't like to do things by myself, as you know. So if I was going to do one, I'd want to do one with someone else, and then we just blow it out of the water. I'm not like a lone shark.
Okay. You can do it with me then.
Okay.
We'll do it together. So welcome. Cheryl and I have a very long history, but it's a long recent history. We met through my program, through the Best of You program in 2020. Yep. And Cheryl's been just immersed in what I do, inspired, and we came together and we birthed a baby called the 8-Week Healthy Family Challenge. And now we're here today. It's I'm in California, Cheryl is in Toronto, and we're just going to talk about life things that we see coming up often for a lot of women our age. I think that we live in a time now where everything is just so much more accessible to us. Getting help, getting coaching, and where are women at when it comes to getting the help they need? So what do you think?
I've got thoughts on that.
What are the challenges?
I think some of the challenges is weeding out, for lack of a better word, craps and cons, and finding what really works. I think there are a lot of programs out there. There's a lot of quick fixes. And I think that women are tired and are just simply looking for something that will work, and they're looking for honesty. Listen, when I joined your program, was it 2020 I joined it?
Yeah, because it was December, right before the new year.
That's right. I did it right before Christmas, and I was like, do I want to do it? Yes, I got to get going. That was really a turning point for me, and it really changed my life. Your program changed my life for the better, and I want women to know it. It was an investment into me, and when I spent that money, it was a signal to my subconscious that I mattered and that I was worth putting the money and the time and the effort into doing something for myself for the long run. And it took a ton of work and it took a lot of willpower. But what I gained out of it was, physically, was my body changing? Was I feeling like a rock star? prancing around the house. Yeah, for sure. 100%. I had a little more pep in my step, but I was sleeping better. My number twos were better. If we could talk about that for a second, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. My skin looked different. I didn't have the fog. I felt amazing. And then I kept seeing a lot of trickle down for my kids and my family, which is where I was like, I can't put the pieces together. And you and I came together and developed the 8-week Healthy Family Challenge. But all to say, I just think there's so many things out there for women, from little TikTok quick fixes that can get very confusing. And so it's hard to break through the noise and be like, no, 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 this works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely. I think that that's probably one of the biggest issues women face right now, is knowing when to even stopping, just get real advice. What is the threshold that you think women should possess? And knowing, when do I stop and ask for help? And why isn't this okay in 2023 yet for women to stop and ask for help?
Because I think a lot of the time, and I say this lightly, our medical system knows what it knows, right? It's the medical system hasn't blended as beautifully with functional medicine, functional medicine being how to protect you from getting sick. Traditional medicine is, you're sick, now we're going to treat you. I wish those two worlds would mesh together a little bit more. And there are more and more family doctors who are working with functional medicine doctors. But a lot of the time people have to go out and find these things, like Mark Hyman, like, Dr. Amen. There's all kinds of people who are fantastic.
But it's
I just wish,
just listening to them on a podcast versus getting help, signing, I know that doctors like that do cost thousands of dollars.
for sure.
And to get blood work and testing and all these things done. But it's simply not enough, I feel, when you have a chronic issue within your family, to just, take the advice of podcasts and Instagram and social media. It's kind of like, when do we stop and ask for help? And do we wait until we have to push that alarm and the doctor has said to you, we've had people in the program, you've seen it. Doctor says to them, well, now your daughter might have diabetes due to fatty liver. You already have diabetes. This is something that, it's not hereditary, it's lifestyle. When is it time to put the brakes on and make that lifestyle change? And I think that's what a lot of people are missing, is they're going to the doctors, they're just getting the green light, the clean bill of health of, yeah, you're okay, clean up your eating, or, you might want to lose some weight because you're diabetic or whatever. And what happens after that? I know parents who were told, okay, well, your daughter or son needs to lose some weight. It's too much now. It's going to impact his health, his, social life, his daily routine. Everything's going to be impacted because he's becoming unhealthy. But then parents are lost and they don't know where to go.
Yeah. I think there's a difference too. We all know, I mean, your kids, when we talked about it, it's even more than what's on the outside. It's really about, how's their attention span at school? How are they sleeping? How are they functioning with their friends? Are they flying off the handle out of nowhere? And you're like, what is this? Are they crashing at 3:00? What's happening? And those are the things we discount how much diet regulates everything.
Yeah.
And when I say diet, I don't mean diet as in losing weight. That's not what this is about. This is about how you fuel your body.
Yeah.
It's like, if you had a Rolls Royce or a fancy car, would you go and just put water in it and hope it runs? No. Or sugar cubes? No. You go get the good gas, the premium gas, because you want it to run and be a good car for you to move forward. Yet for our bodies, we put in tons of crap under the guise of it's a treat.
Yeah.
You're rewarding yourself when really you're actually doing the absolute opposite
It's
of
not
rewarding
even
yourself.
consumable food. You can't even consider
Yeah,
those products food anymore.
no.
And yeah, people are being inundated with marketing that it is appropriate for yourself and your kids, and this is what you should eat, whether it's a snack or a meal, whether it's fast food. I feel bad because I think that a lot of people, given their economic situation, they
For sure.
you you almost, it's cheaper to get fast food sometimes and takeout. Now there are very inexpensive ways of doing things. We made a $5 pizza yesterday out of um, 2 Whole Foods crusts. I lost you again. Why do I keep losing you? Oh, there you are.
I don't know. It is.
But yeah, so I think people, you're just inundated though with so much advertising. You go to a mall, it's really hard for your kids not to ask for a burger or nuggets or pizza. It's everywhere, drive-throughs, it is everywhere. It's really hard to go out of your way and feed your children something healthy. And I think that
But
that's,
that's the thing. I think it's because it's cheaper to mass manufacture
yep,
these as options. And then what ends up happening is you have people who are not as healthy, and then, then it just goes from there. But I mean, you and I developed this program and have created 50 different recipes that are relatively easy to make.
yep,
And when you buy the groceries and everything is spoken for in a week because you've planned, you see that your dollar actually stretches farther. And I think that's the conversation that's not being had,
mhm.
and it's really unfortunate. And I think what we're doing is really, really important. It's just about how do we get the word out more to larger amounts of people so that you can get mom's nutrition under wraps, dad's nutrition under wraps, and then the kids. It's all the trickle down, right? Like it's a bigger piece.
I think that a lot of women, and maybe you can share your process, a lot of women also struggle with the fact that they're working and that the
Sure.
responsibility lies on them. How are ways that you've navigated through your own journey with your own family? What are kind of things that you guys have put in place at home so that everyone is involved and that the goal is to get healthy meals and as little takeout as possible, right? How do we get that done
Yeah,
when
we used
both parents work and there's long days, and how do you guys do it?
Yeah, so for people who don't know, I work every single day, well, 5 days a week.
Mhm.
Um, usually from starting at 9 o'clock till 4 or 5 o'clock. When I come home, we start making dinner. So a lot of the time on Sunday, and I learned this from your program, Sundays and Wednesdays are my preps. So preps meaning batch cooking chicken, batch cooking my ground beef, maybe it's my turkey,
And
and
are you
then
batch cooking for the entire family or just you, or
yeah.
what? Everybody.
Well, I wasn't. When I was on your program, I would do batch cooking for myself and then cook for them. And that's what was really frustrating. But I feel like you and I've closed the loop on this now
Yeah.
with the 8 Healthy Family Challenge. Now I'm not busting my butt to feed me and then to feed my kids. We've got
Mhm.
healthy meals that I can eat and feel good about and feel fueled, and also that I know my kids are. So, and then in terms of snacks for the kids when they get home from school, we had a conversation. You have a choice. You have either some of the baked goods that we've made, you can have one of those, but I would rather you have we have cut up celery and carrots in the crisper, and then we've got our dippies on the side. So you can go in and pick that, or you can have some fruit. That's your option before dinner. Then when dinner comes, I push dinner a little bit later because I want them to be hungry. So we used to eat at like 5:30, and I was noticing they weren't really eating. So now we've pushed it to like 6:37.
Great idea.
Um, yeah, and so now when we have dinner, everybody's really hungry, and it's one of those things. Maybe it's taco night. Maybe it is. Maybe we our chicken quesadillas. Maybe it's the whole chicken. Um, my kids love my Parmesan cheese broccoli. And like, there's different things, but I have friends who say, well, I can't get my kids to eat that. And it's like, if your kids are hungry, eventually they will. If you keep this is what's offered,
Yes.
they will. And so it's on us as parents to set the blueprint.
Do you find that we become enablers as parents, as moms, when we constantly give in?
And you're tired.
Yeah. So, most mom, you can't be bothered to argue with your kids. So you just give them what they want, regardless if it's an unhealthy choice. You don't want them, but well, that's what they like, or they won't eat. When it comes to that, how did you put your foot down? What are some things that people can?
I just think that, listen, every day's not perfect. And there will be days where I'm like, I know that they're going to have something else.
Yeah.
Those days are real. And to pretend that those days never happen. But if you are 85% of the time putting nutritious meals on the table, options for your kids, and then they have those days there where it's like, whatever, that's not, you're completely off the rails. What we're talking about here is we're building a good foundation so that those other ones don't become the norm.
Yeah. 80-20 rule. I feel like those off moments are road trips, soccer tournaments, weekends, nights out, late nights, driving, those that are not as well planned. But if you're planning for 80%, 20% is not so bad. But when you're at home and you are trying to, a lot of the challenges that our families that have been in the program have had is getting your family on board. Sometimes the mom purchased the program and the rest of the family is like, I never said I was going to do this. What is your take on, how do you advise somebody that their family is not on board?
Just start.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but this is your house. This is your house. You just start.
Yep.
You shop differently, and they will, when you are hungry, you will eat it. And listen, will there be some pushback? Potentially, but you're trying to do something for your family. And the way I say it is, you can do anything for 8 weeks. And at the end of the 8 weeks, see what habits have become tradition. See how you've gelled better. See if you're getting less mood outbursts because of the insulin dips and ups and downs, and a little more healthy structure for you and your family. What we have heard from people who have been in the program is that at first, the biggest resistance has been the partner, the husbands, actually. And the youngest ones are the first ones who want to be on board and like, can I help? Like, let's get to it. The teenagers, but then they've come around because psychologically it's saying, oh, guess what? I really care about you. I'm putting extra effort into you. And there's been some beautiful turnarounds that our members have shared. So your husband or your partner.
Yeah, this matters. That's what I think kids feel and think when mom is trying to do better for them. They realize this does matter. This matters to me, my health, my future, my well-being. A lot of kids are very aware and competent that healthy eating is good for them. And we've experienced many of them where their kids just maybe it's a week or two of fighting back or not loving it, and then they get into it, right?
Yeah. And I think it's very easy to say there's no shaming here. This is not shaming moms and dads for the way that they're eating. This is not blaming. That is not what this is about. I just think there needs to be some accountability for moms and dads, for adults, to try and do a little bit better. I think that, it's been very easy because we're all tired and working multiple jobs to do the easy thing. But sometimes we all know that it's important to do the hard things. And there's no shame.
Oh, I lost you again.
Here we are. Yep. There's no shame in it. It's just, if you are a family who you're like, listen, we feel like we're off track. I know we can do a little bit healthier for the kids. Let's see what we can do. This is the program for you. If you're looking to get sleep back on track, wellness, togetherness, that's the point. And for anyone who bashes and is like, no, why, this isn't a shaming thing. So just take that off the table. That's not what this is about.
Absolutely. I think we also underestimate our own families' capabilities,
Mm-hmm.
what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us some of the, surprising things that happen. And especially, I feel like both our kids are around the same age. My daughter's
Yeah.
9, my son is 11, turning 12. And I feel like we underestimate their awareness, and also that the fact that they want to be challenged, and discipline is the highest form of self-love, and that children thrive on discipline and they love structure and they do really well with it. And so implementing it is a good thing for the entire family. I always say this to my husband: the ones that don't feel like they need structure are the ones that actually need it. Right?
That's right.
And
Yeah.
so talk to us about, what are some really surprising changes that happen in your family?
Yeah, I would admittedly say, well, there's a couple of them. I think that when
Oh, that's no.
why does that keep happening? Are we back? There we go. I don't know why that keeps happening. Um, when we first, are we there?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. I would say this: when we first started the program, when we developed the program, I started to realize that um, we weren't eating at the table as much, to be honest. We were in the midst of a renovation and all these things were happening, and that kind of just became the new norm. And I wasn't really paying attention to who was eating what. I was kind of just, and then part of the program was, having these sit down meals together at the table. And I thought it was a really sweet thing to do, but I forgot until we started doing it how incredibly important it was to the kids intellectually,
Oh.
and the things that were being shared. And after 2 to 3 weeks of doing it, my daughter was starting to ask if we could eat every night at the table, because she said, I feel like I'm being heard more when I sit at the table. So I was like, it kind of got me in the heart. And I was like, oh, you don't feel listened to. But the point was, at the table with everyone's attention, she felt that she was just part of, I don't know what it was, but it was a beautiful thing that happened because of that. Right. Um, and we hear our grandmothers and our mothers talk about how they always used to sit around the table and how it was the most important time. And I really, really think it is. I think it's a really important time. That was a big eye opener. The other eye opener was the sleep. I probably let everything push because of sports. People were playing sports later and things were happening, and everybody's sleep was off by a good hour and a half. And when we talked to our sleep expert, and she was talking about the importance of what time the kids should eat, and then, rest and all of that. Once I started to get the kids back on their appropriate sleep schedule for their age, just their moods were better. They were getting along with their friends better. They
Mm-hmm.
they were easily just completing tasks better and just more focused. And I was like, interesting. And now, even when I notice they're off on their sleep game, I'm like, I think we need to pull it back by a little bit, maybe by 20 minutes, get to bed a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
So it's about just, and also the kids have been more aware. Like Jackson will say, I think I need to go to bed earlier tonight. Today was kind of a rough day at school. I think I didn't sleep. So they're aware of what actually feels good, right?
When you have that routine, being out of it feels off. And
Yeah.
then when they, they're like, oh, wow, we've been doing this for a while. I don't like how I feel when I'm not doing it. It feels different to now not do it. And that's when things are working.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And how about your husband? A lot of women complain about their spouses not being as, happy about change. I think a lot of men and women, whether it's the male or the female, that's not, excited to implement all these changes for their life and their family. How did your husband kind of take it? You can talk about when you first did it and when you did it with 8-week healthy family challenge.
So when I started Best of You, at first he was like, there's no way you're going to be able to keep this up. Because we started right before Christmas. And he was like, there's no way. Because I had to give up alcohol
Yeah.
and all, like the sugar and all of that. And I wasn't a big drinker before. And red meat. Red meat was the big one. He was like, no way. There's no, because I love a burger.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm like, I don't feel good. Everything is, I'm inflamed everywhere. My face was like, I just was like, no. He's like, no, you won't. You won't. Anyway, within a month, he saw physical changes within me. And I think at the time I was ordering your recommended meals because I was really busy and didn't cook as much. And then I noticed he started stealing my meals. And then he started trying them. And then he went on and he ordered the meals and he did it for 6 months. So it was sort of like after a month, he was like, huh. And then he picked up. And I think that's the same thing with this 8-week healthy family challenge. Just start. Just start.
And don't be scared. Don't be scared. Everyone is so intimidated by change and discomfort. Endure the discomfort.
Yeah.
Be okay with it. The discomfort is going to get you further than where you've ever been.
Yes.
And that's the growth that happens in this program, as well as, watching your kids grow as people. And then you're teaching them habits that they're going to have for a lifetime.
Well, that's it. I think what we're creating,
we ever get that time back with our kids to prepare meals. And then you're going, shoot, I should have started earlier so that they would know how to do their own meals in university. And when they move out, you'll never get this time back with your children where the willingness to learn, they're available for you. They're not with their friends all the time, and then, I think there's going to be different times as they grow up where we're going to get access to teaching them and providing and helping them grow. And it can't just be school. There has to be, we have to start to look at life strategies as well and make sure our kids are equipped. Because now look at you, Cheryl, you learned this, we did a version of it in our 20s, right? Before we got married. I think the trend in our 20s was you go to the gym, you get the personal trainer. Sure, that was easy to do when you had no kids.
That's right.
A mortgage and a job, and then now we had to relearn everything. I lost you. There you are. Now we had to relearn everything in a different way to suit our families, and different than how we were taught by our mothers. Our mothers were from a different generation. And I anticipate our children also having to do the same once they are of age, and they're going to have to teach their families or whatever it is in a different way than we did. But, we had to relearn everything in our 40s now, 30s going into your 40s. And then, it's like, well, if I don't teach it to them, how will they ever learn it?
Well, the beautiful part is, you've got 40 to 50 different recipes. My son can make a good handful of them, and he does. So he makes breakfast for everyone almost every weekend. And my daughter is now starting to loves to do the baking with me and all of that. So already at 13 years old, he knows how to make way more than I did when I was 18 in college.
See?
So it's creating, and we've said this before, but generational wellness. That's what this is. And we're teaching it in a way that is empowering. And there will be benefits for mom. There will be benefits for dad, and there will be benefits for the kid. Like everybody wins. That's the difference, I think.
I agree with you. I think that we're doing so much more for our kids than just feeding them well so that they don't have any toxins in their body while they're growing up. We're teaching them life skills. We're teaching them skills that they're going to need in the next phase, all phases of their life. You know, I want my 15-year-old to be able to have the knowledge to put something together at home without me being there, or to, you know, Julius is 3 years older than his sister. I want them to be able to come together and know what to make. And it's not, you know, a box. When I was growing up, when my mom wasn't home, it was a box of macaroni and cheese. I didn't bother. And even though, and my mom made everything from scratch, but I didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
She didn't, you know, take me into the kitchen while she was cooking and say, hey, let's do this dish together. You know, mom did all the cooking and we didn't.
But I think that's the thing. You know, everybody is so busy now. Moms and dads are both working.
Yeah.
This is like an 8-week family boot camp where your kids will learn to cook. Your kids will learn to prepare, you know, there's even, you know, in the program we have, you know, responsibilities that can be divvied up, and it's being exposed to doing those things. And they're actually got a lot of joy comes out of it. Pretty funny conversations. So it's good.
What are some tasks that your son or daughter does?
Yeah, we had some company over last weekend and I was busy finishing up something for work. Was it last weekend? I forget which day it was. And I said to them, guys, I need to do whatever I need to do. I need you guys to do the cleanup. I need the dishes. Da, 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 da. And because we've been doing the little bits and little bits and little bits, it wasn't an argument. I didn't negotiate. It was a, yeah, sure, mom, no problem. Now, every time is it like that? No. But because we did the program and they've been contributing along the way, it wasn't a heavy lift for me to say, hey guys, can you take the lead on this? There was actual pride. Nyla was like, hey, take a look at this. Look at what I did with the cushions. Look what I did with all the books. And so
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was really good. And is that every day? No. But what I'm saying is there's moments like that where I'm like, you know what? Boom. That was worth it.
Very rewarding for you and kids. I think I read it in one of Allison's posts, but they have a sense of pride when they're delegated tasks.
Well, they feel like they're contributing to the family. Like if you just feel like you're a person being told what to do as opposed to a contributing member to a family, that's different. If you're just a kid and you're consistently being pecked at and told what to do, which is what generations and generations have done, instead, you're a contributing member. You contribute to the well-oiled machine of this family. That means you can help me cook. You can help us clean up. You can decide which night we're going to sit at the dinner table. You can decide what nights we're going on our walk. It's about giving them a voice in this whole thing, you know?
It really does make the family come together as a unit. And I think that we all need a little, you know, come back to home moment and realize that, yeah, we all slip and we get into bad habits. But if we have some kind of baseline to go back to and a structure, and something outlined for us that we can pull out the papers and say, you know what, guys, we need to get back to this. Remember when we did this? Let's do it. Let's promise ourselves we're going to eat dinner together 3 times a week.
Yeah.
I wish my family had done that, especially growing up when you start to become a teenager and people, you know, you're going your way, your brother's going the other way, you know, everybody's busy. I think that families will definitely crave this and want it and will thrive.
And like we said, if you're a person who Maybe right now you can't afford to just do a wellness program just for yourself or just for your husband, but you'd want to do something, you see the value in doing it for your entire family, then this is the one for you, because it's healthy recipes, lots of great activity suggestions, how to keep your body moving. Yeah, it's about feeling better for
And
sure.
so, before we wrap up, let's just give a breakdown of all the topics that we cover in 8-Week Healthy Family Challenge. So we do food and nutrition in depth with all the recipes, teach you how to build meals for your entire family. We do athlete protocol, what to feed your young athlete at different ages and amounts of protein, carbs, fats, understanding macros and what pre-game and during a game and post-game snacks and meals look like. We do mental health. We do sleep. What else?
Suggested activities for the family.
Yeah.
Again, we mentioned we talk about sleep a lot. And then there's also, we talk about delegating certain jobs and responsibilities to the family.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's all things that we think we don't need to learn. Like we know I know these things, but.
And the thing is, there have been other companies that have tried to do this sort of program and fail because they focused on the physical of this as opposed to the wellness portion of it and the overall outcome. It is not about the weight.
No.
It is not about the number. But as a byproduct, you will, when you eat healthy and you move your body, good things happen, and that's really important and very empowering.
Mm-hmm. It's very empowering for the entire family to feel like they're doing the right thing, knowing that we are all doing the right thing and we're leading a holistic lifestyle. And like we said, there's, life is life. We know it's not about adherence 24/7, 365 days a year, but it's the times where it needs it. School, during the year, when we need our focus, we need our energy, and we need to be healthy. Those are the times that it's going to really help you during those times when your kids are writing tests, when they have to get up early in the next day. All these habits in place play a huge role in the quality of life for you and your children.
Absolutely.
When done all together. Here we go. So I think we could have like another conversation, and maybe we'll dial into one of the weeks that are covered in the Healthy Family Challenge, and we'll just talk in more in depth on it. But I think that was a great conversation.
I think it is too. And I think families feeling, empowered about taking control of their own health and wellness is what we need more of, because if you can start doing that at home, it will trickle out to the rest of your life for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're the best.
You're the best. I really enjoyed that. I think that we will definitely have a lot more conversations. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for being on my podcast and being my friend.
I love that you're doing a podcast, and I love being your friend. So there's that. Okay. All right. Well, you guys have a good time. Are you and the girls going out for dinner, or what are you doing?